So for our last topic, we are going to talk about time rates. So pag sinabi natin time rates, these are yung mga problems that deals with changes with respect to time. Yung mga changes na tinutukoy dito is yung velocity, acceleration, jerk, mga volume, etc. So kung maalala natin, yung units ng velocity natin ay meters per second. So for example, an object traveling 15 meters per second ay lumalayo siya sa kanyang initial position 15 meters per 1 second. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung original position niya, nagta-travel siya, after 1 second, ang mako-cover niya ay 15 meters. So, yung distance niya from his original position is changing with respect to the changes in time. And the same way sa velocity, ang unit ng velocity natin ay meters per second square. Ano? So, yung velocity nag-change with respect to time. So, ang original units niya ay meters per second per second. So, yung change in velocity per unit time. Kaya bababa yung S, magiging S squared siya. And ganoon din sa jerk. Sa volume naman, ang unit ng volume ay cubic meters per second. Ito ay common sa usually ginagamit sa discharge ng mga tubig and other form of liquids. So sa mga future discussions natin, mapapansin natin that if given an equation for distance and that is in terms of meters, pagka kinuha natin yung derivative ng equation ng distance, makukuha natin yung equation for velocity, which is yung units niya ay meters per second. And in the same manner, pag kinuha natin yung derivative ng equation for velocity, we will get a function for acceleration, which is ang units niya ay meters per second squared. So in the solutions regarding time rates, we will always be differentiating with respect to time. So let us proceed to our first problem. So example number 1, a balloon leaving the ground 60 feet from an observer rises vertically at the rate of 10 feet per second. How fast is the balloon receding from the observer after 8 seconds? So to solve this problem, gawa muna tayo ng illustration natin para mas maintindihan natin kung ano yung mga nangyayari sa ating problem. So, first, we have an observer, sabi sa problem. We have an observer, tapos 60 feet siya from a balloon that is rising at a rate of 10 feet per second. So, may balloon dito. Tapos yung distance from the observer and the balloon is 60 feet. Okay, ano pa yung given sa ating problem? Ang sabi dyan, the balloon rises vertically at the rate of 10 feet per second. So, vertically, nagra-rise, umaakyat yung ating balloon at a rate of 10 feet per second. So, may velocity yung pag-akyat ng balloon natin. So, dahil itong measure na ito ay nasa distance, ano, it is a measure of distance. So, dapat yung side na ito ay dapat naka-distance din siya. So, natin, we are given ang velocity. The velocity is equal to distance over time. So, makikita natin distance just equal to velocity times time. And makukuha natin itong measure ng side na ito pagka gagamitin natin itong equation nito. So, given yung velocity natin which is 10 feet per second, so you have v times t is equal to 10. Yung velocity ay 10. Tapos, walang given na time. Ano? Mamaya na natin i-substitute yung time because hindi pa yan yung hinahanap natin. So, 10 and then, dahil hindi pa natin alam itong time, we have t. So, yung side na ito ay 10t itong pag-akyat niya. And then, ang hinahanap, ang hinihingi sa problem ay yung how fast is the balloon receding from the observer. So, gaano kabilis yung kanilang paghiwalay. Yan. 2 days, 3 days. So, let's take this as yung distance s natin. So, ang hinahanap sa problem, how fast is the balloon receding from the observer after 8 seconds? So, hinahanap ay ds over dt. So, dapat makahanap tayo ng equation of S that is in terms of T. So, makikita natin, meron tayong triangle, so we can relate those three by the Pythagorean theorem. So, isulat na natin. S squared is equal to 60 squared plus 10t squared. Simplify natin. We have S is equal to square root of 3,600 plus 100 t squared. And then, we can differentiate para makuha natin yung ds over dt. So, we will differentiate with respect to time. So, dito ko na isulat sa kabilang side. Let us differentiate. So, we have ds over dt is equal to 1/2. Then, yung chain rule, we have 200t over square root of 3,600 plus 100 t squared. So yan, meron na tayong formula. Simplify na lang natin. We have ds over dt. So we have 100t over the square root of 3,600 plus 100t. And then, nakalagay sa problem, hahanapin natin itong ds over dt when t is equal to 8 seconds. So, evaluate natin siya after 8 seconds. So, yung time, substitute lang natin siya equivalent to 8. So, we get ds over dt now is equal to 100 times 8. So, therefore, we have now yung sagot natin na therefore, the rate is equal to 8 feet per second. This is now yung answer natin sa ating problem. We are just differentiating with respect to time. Okay? So, some of you may be asking, Sir, bakit hindi lang natin i-substitute yung 8 dun sa time, tapos gamitin lang natin yung Pythagorean theorem, makukuha natin yung S. So, try natin i-solve yun. So, we have S squared is equal to 6t squared plus 10t squared. Tapos, simplify lang natin. We have the square root of 3,600 plus 100. Tapos, substitute na natin yung t, which is yung 8 seconds. Tapos, naka-square. Ang magiging sagot natin dyan ay, when we get our calculators, so yeah, ang magiging sagot natin ay 100, which is very, very wrong. Kasi, mapapansin nyo, so this is 100 meters dapat to, di ba? Yung magiging units yan, I'm sorry. So, magiging feet yan, 100 feet. Pero ang hinahanap ay yung rate ng change. Pag hinahanap kasi natin rate of change, dapat yung units natin naka feet per second or meter per second. So dito pa lang sa units mali na tayo kasi kung distance itong 60 feet, ito ay feet lang. So itong 10t, we have a velocity per second tapos lalagyan mo ng time na 8 seconds, magka-cancel yung seconds. May iwan ay feet. May iwan feet squared tapos i-square natin makukuha natin ay feet. So all in all, pag gagamitin natin ito, pag substitute na natin agad yung time dito sa value ng t, yung solution natin ay mali na agad. So, do not do that. So, dapat dadaan tayo sa differentiation process. Okay, so next problem. We have a man on a wharf, 20 feet above the water, pulls in a rope to which a boat is attached at the rate of 4 feet per second. At what rate is the boat approaching the wharf when there is 25 feet of rope out? So again, dapat gumawa tayo ng drawings para mas madali nating masolve ang ating problem. So we have this drawing right here. So yung wharf na tinutukoy niya ay itong structure na ito. And then sabi dyan sa problem, it is 20 feet above the water. So let us take yung 20 feet na yon ay itong distance na ito. Let's take this as yung 20 feet. Okay, malinaw. So this is yung 20 feet. Ano pa yung given sa problem? So a man on a wharf above the water pulls in a rope to which a boat is attached at a rate of 4 feet per second. So itong side na ito, itong distance between the boat and the wharf, given ba siya? So, di ba hindi siya given? So, let us take this as x muna. Di ba? Ang hilig natin sa mga x. Yan. And then, tapos meron tayo tong side na ito. What is this distance given ba sa problem? So, dahil hinihila niya yung boat, ibig sabihin, itong distance na ito, itong longest side natin, itong hypotenuse natin, it is changing. So, let us take this as small letter r muna. And itong r natin, nag-change siya. So, it is changing with respect to time, sabi nga yun. And yung change niya ay 4 feet per second. And, syempre, itong ano ay may angle of inclination yan. Yan mga wala dapat. Okay? So, we have now our variables. So, meron na tayong triangle. So, pwede na natin siyang isolve. Pero ang hinihingi sa atin, at what rate is the boat approaching the wharf when there is 25 feet of rope out? So, ang hinihingi sa atin ay yung rate ng pag-approach ng bangka. So, itong x na ito. Pero hindi yung x distance, but ang hinahanap natin ay yung change in x with respect to time, which is derivative of x with respect to t. So, yan yung yan yung hinahanap natin. So, first, maghanap tayo ng relationships between r, x, and yung 20 feet. Okay? And then, we will differentiate later on with respect to time. So, let's carry on sa problem natin. Yan, pinaganda ko lang yung drawing. So, we have this figure now. We have yung triangle na yan. So, let us solve. So, para ma-solve natin, dapat makahanap tayo ng relationship between r, x, and 20. So, that is given by yung Pythagorean theorem, which is r squared is equal to x squared plus 20 squared. And then, ang hinahanap sa atin ay yung change in x with respect to time. So, dapat makahanap tayo ng formula for x and then we will differentiate it with respect to t. So, dito sa ating formula, i-simplify natin para makuha na yung formula for x. We get this formula and then simplify natin. So, we have x is equal to the square root of r squared plus 400. Then, we can differentiate now. Differentiate it with respect to time. So, yung r natin ay dependent siya sa time. Yung x dependent siya sa time. Kaya, pagka differentiate natin sila, lalabas yung derivative of x with respect to t. And then, by chain rule, we have 1/2 2r. At dahil dependent variable yung r, lalabas yung derivative of r with respect to time. Or change in r with respect to time. All over. Okay. Simplify natin. Magka-cancel yung 2. May iwan na lang sa taas ay yung r. So, we have now the change derivative of x with respect to t is equal to r. Then yung change in r with respect to time all over. So we have now our equation for the change in x with respect to time. Let us substitute now the values. So we have change in x with respect to time is equal to the value for r nakalagay sa problem natin at what rate is the boat approaching the wharf when there is 25 feet of rope out. So yung rope is yung dimension r natin ano, and when yung sinabi sa problem natin ang yung instance when yung r natin ay 25. So ilagay lang natin diyan, substitute natin yung r na 25. So we have 25 and then times yung change in r with respect to time. So yung rate ng paghila ng rope natin nakalagay diyan, it is 4 feet per second. Hinihila yung rope at a rate of 4 feet per second. So ilalagay natin dito 4. But before we proceed, dapat may sign yan. Kasi kung mapapansin nyo, kung hinihila itong r, ibig sabihin umiikli siya. So dapat yung rate ng change na yan ay negative kasi umiikli. So bear that in mind na pag lumiliit, negative, pag lumalaki ay positive. Okay? And then all over the square root of r squared. Square root of r squared is 25 squared plus 400. And then ano natin, pinutin natin sa calculator natin. Equals. So we have the change in x with respect to time is equal to negative 20 over 3 or 6.67. 67, that is, yung units niya, feet per second. Okay? So, sir, bakit po negative? So, again, yung sinabi ko kanina, negative siya kasi yung x natin, yung boat natin, lumalapit siya sa wharf. So, papalapit siya na papalit sa wharf. So, yung x natin ay lumiliit. So, we have negative 20 over 3 feet per second. So, final example tayo sa time rates. We have example number 3. As a man walks across a bridge at the rate of 5 feet per second, a boat passes directly beneath him at 10 feet per second. If the bridge is 50 feet above the water, how fast are the man and the boat separating 3 seconds later? So again, dapat may illustration tayo para masolve natin ang problem na ito. So we have a man, nasa bridge siya, tapos naglalakad siya. Tapos at the same time, sa ilalim niya may dumaan na bangka. So, in the figure, the man will be moving towards this direction and the boat will be moving towards this direction. And then, ang hinahanap sa problem, how fast are the man and the boat separating 3 seconds later? So, kung yung man, he will move towards this direction and the boat will move towards this direction. Yung distance between them is this line. So, sa problem natin, given yung velocity ng paglalakad ng man, which is 5 feet per second. So, makikita natin yung formula for velocity is equal to distance over time. Then, distance is equal to velocity times time. Yung parang ginawa natin sa example number 1. So, we have, meron tayong velocity. Yung velocity ng man ay 5 feet per second. So, 5 feet per second times yung time na gugugulin niya sa paglalakad. So, we have t. And ganoon din dito. So, yung velocity ng boat ay 10 feet per second. So, we have yung velocity na 10. Then, we have yung multiply natin sa time. And makikita natin sa ating figure na kung ipo-project natin yung mga yung mga coordinates, makikita natin na it will form a cube. So, project lang natin yung parang cube. makikita natin dito sa blue lines na ito, makaka-form tayo ng cube where yung mga sides ng cube ay yung 5t, 10t, tsaka yung height, yung distance between the man and the bridge. So, sa problem natin, makikita natin na yung height ng bridge ay 30 feet. The bridge is 30 feet, sabi dyan. So, yung height ng bridge, let us assume na yun yung distance between the man and the boat. So, this is 30 feet. I-clarify lang natin yung drawing. I have prepared a much detailed and much better drawing. So, yan, we have a cube na yung mga edges niya ay 5t, 30, and then yung 10t. At yung hinahanap natin ay yung distance s, which is this. So, ano yung rate ng paglaki nito? So, they are separating, so dapat yung s ay positive kasi lumalaki dapat yan. So, because they are moving away from each other. So, para masolve natin, maghanap ulit tayo ng relationship between these sides. So, sa problem natin, ang hinahanap ay yung change in s with respect to time. So, dapat makahanap tayo ng formula for s in terms of t. And then, makukuha na yung formula na yun by expanding yung Pythagorean theorem. Nakita natin dito sa figure natin that s squared is equal to 5t squared plus 30 squared plus 10t squared. Then, simplify natin, we have s is equal to square root of 25t squared plus 900 plus 100t squared. So, ang hinahanap ay yung derivative of s with respect to t. So, kunin lang natin yung derivative. We have derivative of s with respect to time. By general power rule, 1/2 times yung chain rule. We have 2 times 25 ay 50 times t plus the derivative of a constant is 0 and then 200 and may 1 t. Okay. So, all over, we have 25t squared plus 900 is 100t squared. Okay. And then, simplify lang natin. We have 50 plus 200, 250 divided by 2, it is 125. So, we have now derivative of s is equal to 125 t over t squared of 25 t squared plus 900 plus 100 t squared. So, sa susunod natin, yung time na 3 seconds, we have the change in s with respect to t is equal to 125 times okay. Entry natin sa calculator natin, makukuha natin yung rate na so we have 25 over 3. So ito na yung sagot natin. At yung units niya ay feet per second. Okay. So, ganun lang kadali magsagot ng time rates. We always get the derivative with respect to s.